When you think of a roguelite game, what do you think of? Do you conjure up slaying hundreds of undead enemies and vampire survivors? Or do you think about getting a multi-million chip hand in Balatro? Or do you think about playing The Binding of Isaac with its permadeath, hard difficulty, and gradual unlocks? Now, all of these games are incredible options and are pillars of the roguelike genre that is really a true melting pot. But what I want you to do is think back to 2003, because there's a game mode in a game that not a lot of people played because it was a 6 out of 10, but it is one of the best early examples of a roguelite. And that game is Kirby Air Ride. Welcome to the City Trial.
Baby.
Oh my God!
Double kill. Suicide. Double kill. Double kill. Overkill.
Oh, not again.
Please, no! 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 No!
So when I think of a roguelite, I think of a genre-bending mixed bag of everything that makes indie games, in a way, good. So they usually have great, art styles, great sound, and they usually have a gameplay loop that doesn't necessarily last very long. So like, think of a Slay the Spire game, right? A run of Slay the Spire could be between an hour and a half max. If you're taking longer than that, that's fine, but it usually doesn't take that long. And so when you break that down, then what constitutes a roguelite? So I'm going to say that there are three main things that constitute a roguelite. One, each game, the gameplay loop itself is short. So it's about an hour or less. And so that constitutes a run, for example. So that's the verbiage I'm going to be using. So that's number one. Number two, I'm going to say is within the game, you all start off from a very basic level and you build up through that short gameplay loop. And so, for example, you start with a basic deck in Slay the Spire. And in Kirby Air Ride, City Trial, you start off with a basic star. And every single time you load up City Trial, it's a different thing, but you all start off from the same exact spot. And the gameplay loop is about 5 minutes. And then the final and kind of most important part about this is that you have this build up to an event, to a final boss, and sometimes there are mini bosses or elites along the way. And so in Kirby Air Ride City Trial, for example, you're building up to being a random event that sometimes you don't know what's coming. You get like a little thing that'll pop up being like, the mystery announcement, you may be flying. So you could have a drag race, or you could have flying into a bingo board and trying to get as many points as you can. And you build up your bike or your star or whatever, or you even change stars. You can get a whole new bike and a whole new ride, a new air ride to, fly. And you never know. You never know what you're going to build up to. You never know until you're going to go. That's what, forget who came up with that saying is. But we have Kirby here, and yeah, he's been kind of chilling. What's up, Kirby? Currently, you're just a dime on my couch, but hopefully I'm going to edit you in. And so, yeah, that's kind of why I think Kirby Air Ride is a roguelite. I mean, it has everything. It's got all the goods you need. It's got random generated stuff. It's got events. It's got permanent unlocks that you can, sometimes are really hard to do, these like little challenge things. And I really wanted to talk about it because we've mentioned it so many times on the channel. And it being one of my favorite games from being a child is probably the best 6 out of 10 game I've ever played. What was that? Do you hear that knocking? It's common sense. Wow, sorry about that. That's those were my intrusive thoughts. But yeah, I mean, I think it's just common sense, right? 2003 was a long time ago. I mean, as of this recording, it was 22 years ago. And with the announcement of Kirby Air Riders, which I don't cry very often when it comes to a game announcement, a single just manly tear came down my face. So yeah, I mean, I think it's just common sense. It's got all the ingredients, and not a lot of people just want to recognize that it actually is a roguelite. I mean, it's not a really contentious issue, and I'm currently making the debate. I'm stirring up the controversy, which doesn't exist, really. I mean, I'm just kind of doing this because it's fun, and I wanted to test out this lapel mic that I bought on an impulse. So yeah, I mean, that's my argument. It's not a very good argument, but it is an argument. And go check out Kirby Air Ride. It's a fantastic little game. I said that, something about indie stuff. I know it's not an indie game. If Nintendo was indie, that's like saying the earth is flat, because it's clearly not. I mean, it's more of a square. But yeah, I mean, that's like, comment, subscribe if you want more these kind of videos. I'm just testing it out. So see you.